HOA Karen demanded my first-class seat. The gate agent announced, "Escort the pilot." The airport was buzzing with the usual chaos. Rolling suitcases clicked against the polished floor, hurried announcements echoed through the terminals, and anxious travelers rushed between gates. I was sitting quietly in the lounge near my gate, sipping coffee, waiting for my flight to board. For me, it wasn't just another business trip or vacation. It was a return home after a grueling 6 months flying international routes as a commercial pilot. Exhausted, jet-lagged, but grateful, I was finally heading home to see my wife and my little girl. When the boarding call finally came for first class, I picked up my bag and headed toward the gate. I had barely reached the counter when I heard her voice, sharp, entitled, and dripping with the kind of arrogance that could silence a room. "Excuse me, that's my seat." I turned to see a woman in her late 50s, impeccably dressed in designer clothes. Dragging along 2 oversized carry-ons, she clearly wasn't planning to check in. She had the air of someone used to demanding and getting whatever she wanted. The gate agent glanced nervously at her before looking at me. "Ma'am, this gentleman has the boarding pass for seat 1A, the agent said politely. "Impossible," the woman snapped. "I always fly first class. That's my seat. Move him." I took a slow breath, not wanting to escalate the situation. I explained calmly, "Ma'am, this is my ticket. I've had it booked for weeks." But Karen, as I would come to think of her, wasn't about to back down. Her voice grew louder, drawing curious stares from other passengers. "You don't look like you belong in first class," she sneered, her eyes narrowing at my travel-worn jacket and duffel bag. "You're probably one of those people who scammed a cheap upgrade. I'm part of the HOA in my community, and we don't tolerate people who think rules don't apply to them. Now hand over the seat." The audacity left me speechless for a moment. Not only was this stranger trying to bully her way into my seat, but she was dragging her neighborhood's status into an airport dispute. Before I could respond, the gate agent's voice cut through the tension. "Ma'am," the agent said firmly, "this passenger has a confirmed first-class ticket. If you'd like, we can help you find your assigned seat." Karen folded her arms chin high. "I don't do economy. Either move him or I'll call security. In fact," she whipped out her phone, "I'll call 911 right now. He's stealing my seat." The absurdity of it all was almost laughable, but I stayed quiet. The gate agent sighed and picked up the desk phone, speaking softly. Moments later, 2 airport security officers appeared. Karen's triumphant smirk widened, as if she'd just won. "Officers, this man is in my seat," she declared, pointing at me dramatically. The officers didn't even look at me. Instead, they turned to the gate agent, who handed them the boarding passes. One officer glanced at them, then looked back at Karen. "Ma'am, his ticket clearly shows seat 1A. Yours is 27C. The color drained from her face, but she quickly regained her composure. "Well then, bump him to economy and put me in first class. He'll be fine." That's when the gate agent, tired of the spectacle, raised her voice loud enough for the entire boarding area to hear. "Ma'am, he cannot be moved. He is the pilot of this flight. Please step aside." The crowd erupted in laughter, whispers spreading like wildfire. Karen's jaw fell open. "What? HIM? He's not a pilot. Look at him." The officer gestured toward me. "Ma'am, we suggest you proceed to your assigned seat, or you won't be flying today." Karen sputtered, her arrogance crumbling in the face of undeniable truth. As security gently escorted her down the jet bridge, passengers clapped and chuckled. For once, her entitled demands had hit a wall she couldn't climb. Later, as I settled into the cockpit, I couldn't help but think about the irony. She had tried to humiliate me in front of everyone, assuming I didn't belong. But in the end, her words had only revealed her ignorance. Flying that plane home was one of the most satisfying flights of my career, not because of the route or the destination, but because I knew every passenger in first class now saw me differently. Not just as a pilot, but as someone who had stood quietly, firmly, and let truth speak louder than entitlement. When we landed, I saw a text from my wife. "Can't wait to see you. Your daughter keeps saying her daddy is a hero." And in that moment, I realized Karen's humiliation wasn't my victory. My true victory was walking through the arrival gate later that day.